Hello everyone, welcome to the Kubernetes SIG Release meeting. Today is Thursday, October 30, 2025. This meeting is being recorded and this meeting is being under the Kubernetes Code of Conduct, which boils down to be excellent to each other. We have a light agenda today. I have posted the link to the agenda. Please make sure to add yourself as attendee. And as of the note taker, I don't think that we need anyone today. I can take care of it because we don't have many topics as of now. First, welcome to any new members. And is there anyone who would like to introduce themselves? Okay, I will take that as a no. Let's get started with the sub-project updates. And from the release engineering, the only update is on the patch releases side. The October patch releases have been consolidated with the November patch releases. This means that we are not going to cut any patch releases in October, and we are going to cut the patch releases in November as planned for November 11th. And the next Friday is the cherry pick deadline for these releases. So if you have anything that you would like to get shipped with the next patch releases, make sure that you create the cherry picks by then. The reason why we are doing that in the first place is that the issue with co-updates is still not resolved, unfortunately, as far as I know at least. I am planning, or actually, I will take a look tomorrow at it and try to get it resolved as soon as possible so that we get the CI signal and that we can proceed with the patch releases without any further delays. And that's it from the patch release aside from the now. About all other release engineering section, there are no updates at this time. So that's it from our side. Are there any questions for release engineering before we move on? Okay, I'll take that as a no. And release team. Do we have anyone from the release team? Looks like no. Yeah, okay, then there are no updates in the agenda, so perhaps there's nothing new. And that would be it from the sub-project updates. Then we can go to the open discussions, and we have one item from Chenghao. Do you want to go ahead and...
Yeah, I am the risk signal lead in 1.35, and we have the failing test, but this issue may be related with SIG release, so I want to confirm about this.
I'm taking a look at the issue. Yeah, I guess this will need help from someone from Relang at CK at Infra. Oh, yeah. Okay, I can take a look at this one.
Can you
Okay.
provide a little bit more context on what it is? So I'm taking a look, but just to understand what's going on.
So if I am understanding this correctly, there is some issue with the either version markers not getting published or the test is using wrong version markers. So either one of those two. Did I capture this correctly?
Okay, I'll also give it a read to try to understand And yeah, well, let's take it up later, Marco, and perhaps discuss it together.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Now that we have some folks, maybe I would like to bring one more item very quickly. And this is about the image promotion. As you know, actually 1 year ago, Ben Elder came up with a proposal about how we can fix the issue that we have with the image promotion. I would like, especially the SIG release leads, we have Adolfo here who is very experienced on this side, and I think Veronica as well. So I would like that you folks take another look at this and that we, because I have more and more folks who are interested into doing this, so I want to make sure that this is still something that we want to do. And we should also eventually figure out if we want to change anything and what's the general future for the image promoter that we have right now. Are we missing any feature? Is there anything that should be updated? And is there anything, especially on the supply chain security side, that maybe needs rework or anything like that? So one thing that would be nice to get it as soonish as possible is that we get some feedback on this proposal from the Sigley side, and then we can actually start working on that.
So, does someone have a plan to actually start working on it? I'm asking because we have there are a bunch of there's been a couple of also with some of the underlying signature infrastructure, there's some incompatibilities that started to come up with some of the dependencies, and they will most likely get worse. So probably we need to rework some of the internals to basically to modernize them. Some of the tooling that signs the images is very, how to put it, like we wrote that when all of the signing infrastructure was very new and there weren't a lot of tools during those days. So it's in a dire need for a rework. So if we're changing the way we promote the images, then maybe it's so one of the things that I wanted to discuss now that I could join on Thursday for a weird reason today, was that like should we invest because we can easily hack our signing libraries to make them work with all of our dependencies and the way they're changing. Or we could invest a little bit more time and maybe modernize them. But if folks are starting to work on changing how image promotion works, perhaps it's worth taking a revisit. KubeCon is coming up, and some of us are going to be there, and it may be a good time to, get some ideas going, maybe discuss them in person because that we can make decisions faster there, and then bring them back to the meetings. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense.
For context in the project management side, last time I heard about this topic and that we seriously discussed it, I think it was like at the beginning of this year. So I don't remember who, but a couple of people said that they would probably have some cycles to dedicate and focus on this. Now that was the last thing I heard from that side. So personally, I haven't even looked at it because I thought that it was already taken. But then things might have changed, or priorities might have changed, and we're here again. So thanks for bringing this up again, Marco. So that is on the who's going to take it. I am happy to start owning the let's say the effort and then bringing people together. But I was under the understanding that someone else was taking care of that. And then on the other hand, I think that we really have to, whoever ends up owning the effort really has to work hand in hand with Adolfo and or Carlos, because this is tightly coupled to all the supply chain security stuff that, if I remember correctly, like years ago when you guys introduced this, there were some compromises that needed to be made because the promoter was not ideally, like the promoter was built like way before that, right? So now that we have the opportunity to revisit it, it would be cool to accommodate all those wish list items that you had for the supply chain security side. So that's what I know. So with this said, Marco, I don't know if you have probably been more plugged in to the project management side. So what was the last thing you heard about ownership of this or effort or anything?
Yeah, before that, Steven, do you want to go ahead and then I can share some more details?
I was going to say you first. I will quickly just +1 all of what Veronica said.
Yeah, me too. So the idea that we had at the beginning, because CNCF was sponsoring CK's Infra with resources for infra stuff and for some tooling stuff as well. So for example, the CNCF was also sponsoring the OBS implementation that we had for packages, and the idea was to apply the similar model for image promoter. The problem with that, as Veronica said, was that I was supposed actually to work on it beginning of this year, but my priorities at work has significantly shifted and I got moved to some completely other project internally, and I didn't have much time for upstream stuff at all. But this is likely going to change. CNCF is still interested to sponsor this. And there is going to be, like, I'm going to be involved, as some of my colleagues for Kubernetes are also going to be involved. We also have external people like contributors who have been reaching out and who are interested. So we wanted, CNCF also wants to see this being moved forward. Like, they don't like care about how we do that. They don't want to intervene in any decision making, but they want to make sure that, yeah, they will help us to make some progress. That said, I would probably say that maybe the best way forward is that we organize some meeting for KubeCon. I'm not gonna be there, but I will see with folks from CNCF and with folks from Kubernetes who are going to be there about how we can do that. And then we try to make some plan, and then I can help afterwards after we have the plan to make sure we actually realize that one.
Can we have a quick show of hands via either the hand raising method, or if you want to shout out who's going to be at KubeCon?
Mm,
Okay. So, all right. So Adolfo and Veronica. All right. Yeah, so I think more broadly, it is time to, I was just like reflecting on the year and certain things around like image promoter. So for example, image promoter, we have not, I'm on the cusp of doing a release for image promoter. The image promoter has not had an update in the year and change. We've pushed new content and done some cleanups. Largely their dependency updates, but the image promoter has not had a release in a while. I think some of that could be due to like fear of touching the thing that can break catastrophically. And I think the other piece has been bandwidth for a lot of folks. And then also one of the things that's ongoing is the owners cleanup, release managers, release engineering in general, as well as release team. Release team, I think owners in our core repos are pretty tight at this point. I think for the teams, especially the ones that are responsible for review and approval of content across release engineering repos, we have some cleanup to do, right? So that's one of the first tasks I want to take, and kind of close that out ahead of the end of the year. I think it'll also give us some opportunities to check in with existing release managers or release managers who are not no longer interested, whether it be time or general interest in continuing that role. And then heading into, I think, post KubeCon, I'd love us to get towards like what our, like from an engineering standpoint, what our 2026 roadmap looks like. We haven't, I think we haven't had a roadmap update in a little bit, but it'd be nice to head into 2026 with that. I think this is definitely a core part of it, but I think my first steps at least are to clean up owners as well as get a new image promoter cut out there. I think there's some jobs on the board that are in fact using an older version of the image promoter, even older than the current release. So those are some things that we need to take a look at.
Okay, this sounds like a solid roadmap to me, like +1. But yeah, I think that, I don't know, maybe it would still be ideal that we use the KubeCon opportunity for folks who are going to be there to at least try to meet with everyone who might be involved with the promoter work. And then we at least get some general understanding on what everyone can help with and do, and like we try to see like, yeah, what do we need to do exactly, and try to get especially SIG Infra and SIG Release on the same page about this. And then, yeah, we then, after we do the cleanup, have better idea who we have on our side to help us, and what's the capacity there, and like what's the external capacity that we get from CNCF and from external contributors.
Yeah, so for the KubeCon meet, it seems like at the very least, Adolfo, Veronica, and myself will be there. We can do, I think what we can plan to do is do a vigorous culling of the existing release engineering backlog as it relates to image promotion. Get some ideas up on the board around what we want 2026 to look like. I think for this to work, there won't be anyone explicitly assigned, right? I think Marco, I would like to see you kind of work on the cross connect on the case infra side, since that is your biggest overlap, as well as the Kubernetes and potential support that we would get from other interested contributors in this work. Adolfo and Carlos to think through some of the software supply chain security things that need to be improved and make explicit directions around that. And then I think Veronica and I can figure out what how we can be best helpful there. But I think from in terms of I know we have that original proposal from Ben around the image promoter work. I think ahead of attacking that proposal, we need to make sure that the image promoter as it stands today is, I'm doing air quotes, stable. I think we've still had releases where we've seen interesting things happen across promotion, across signing, across errors in that, and that could be arguably fixed by just dependency updates, right? Things that we've missed across the stream. So I think first priority is just get the image promoter updated and watch it, and I think ideally maybe we can do that heading into KubeCon week. I think that's reasonable. I think the updates, the release is ready to be cut. So I think as long as that doesn't conflict with too aggressively with release schedule, we can do that. And then we have a little we have a few days to monitor that progress and then make some decisions. So that sounds good to folks.
Yeah, I would only add, I think that's a good first step, but I would still like, yeah, I have the same problem. I will try to do some recap after the meeting. But in general, one additional ask from my side would be just to make sure, like especially Adolfo, who have the most experience on that side, to think about how would the image promoter look like long term, so that we just have some idea that we can put it on the paper and that we can eventually start to lay out tasks and to see on the capacity side over time who can actually accomplish this long-term goal. Okay. Then I would try to recap and I would try to connect CK's infra and SIG Release and everyone. So I will like create some group chat or something like that, and then you folks can organize about what time would work for you to meet or something like that. So you can do some planning for KubeCon, if that's okay for you.
Sounds good.
Good. I am capturing my notes.
Okay. Are there any questions or anything that you would like to discuss about this topic or any other topic? Okay, I will take that as a no. So thank you all for joining today. It was really nice to see all of you. And then wait a moment, just a second. So I think that our next meeting is in the week of KubeCon. So I guess we will probably cancel that meeting. And for folks at KubeCon, if you want to see each other, then maybe you can work something out on the on-site. And then we meet whatever is the next meeting afterwards. Okay.
That sounds good to me. I can send cancellations in a bit.
Yeah, okay. That would be great. Thank you. Then everyone have a very nice rest of your day and see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.